Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tales of the Ironsworn, our podcast video series where we've been learning the game Ironsworn and walking through this campaign together with Baldur and Mortimor. Again, thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to us. All the support, all the comments, all the likes, all the shares. It really does mean a lot to us as we try to grow this channel and dive into this community and this game. I'm not going to take too much time with intros. I'm excited to jump right in. Left it kind of a cliffhanger. Willowbrook's on fire. Colin, if you'll give us a quick recap and we'll jump right into the story.
Yeah, so last episode we completed our journey to Willowbrook, and when we got there, a man named Bronwyn ran out. And we saw that the town was on fire, everything was smoking, even had a little bit of soot on him. Well, he lets us know that, yeah, he did steal some measures that they used to protect the town in case of an Ironforge accident. Well, the Ironforge accident happened, the measures weren't there, so the town's ablaze. He takes us around, shows us where the brook is on the other side of town, and that's where our story we're going to jump into today.
Yeah, the main dilemma that we found ourselves in is we have a brook over here, a town that's on fire over here. How do we bridge the gap? That's kind of where we're starting off with this episode. So, we sent Bronwyn back to camp to set up, try to stifle the fire, right? Was he successful in that? Do we know yet? Do we roll for that? What do we say?
I think let's try to figure out how we're going to help him, and let's roll to see if he did succeed once we start going into town.
Okay, so hold off on that. We don't know yet. We don't know if he was successful. All right, well, that takes us back at the brook. I think there's some business we need to take care of. Baldur, how are your wounds? How are you faring?
I'm still healing from those thieves back on the road, and honestly, I'm sitting at 2 health. So I think I'm going to roll to heal before we go into this blaze, because I may not come out otherwise.
Right, true. And I think we're going to need all the strength we can to put this fire out and save Willowbrook. So go ahead and make the roll while I pull up the roll sheet.
All right, here we go. Eight, a 5, and a 6.
So this, you're rolling...
Is there modifiers on the heal?
Always. Yeah, always modifiers. So you get to pick. I lied, you don't get to pick. It's either your iron or your wits, whichever is lower.
Oh, whichever's lower.
Whichever's lower.
Dang, well, I mean, iron's 1, so...
Okay, so what is the hit?
It's still a weak hit. It would be an 8, a 5, and a 7.
Okay, so you heal 2. Heal 2
Awesome.
health. But you must suffer either 1 supply or 1 momentum. You get to choose.
Yeah, I have 8 momentum, so I'll suffer 1 momentum.
Perfect. Yeah, that was not too bad of a weak hit for that roll. But that leads us back to the brook. Willowbrook is called Willowbrook because there's a brook right outside of Willowbrook. Pretty handy. And we've got to get water from here to here. I'm 4 health, you're 4 health. We're feeling good, but now we have a decision to make. One thing that pops into my mind, I have my blade, Soul Render. So we can either see if I have a magical ancestor, or we could see if there's a magical creature that calls this brook home that is willing to help us. I think we could do a likely, least likely, most likely roll here, and maybe roll it for the mythical creature. How likely do we think that there is a creature here that could help us get the water from point A to point B?
I would personally say it's a 50-50. I think there's probably 50-50. A lot of spirits like that in the Ironlands, but who's to say there's one here just outside this town? That would be convenient, but I mean, we need to look and see, so let's look around. I'll roll 50-50 for us.
Okay. So, I rolled it on this, and I got an answer.
Alrighty.
We'll see what yours is.
Mine is a 100 and a 5, so that's a 15.
Okay, so I don't really know how to do it, so I'm just going to use the software for it because it just tells me straight up what it rolled. It doesn't show me the numerical values.
Okay.
It says no on the 50-50. It said that
mine said no as well. There is definitely no spirit.
There is no spirit here to help us, so we call upon Soul Render. I pull it out of its sheath. I'm a little nervous, to give some exposition. A little nervous. I want to prove to my ancestors that I'm worthy. Me calling on them is a little embarrassing. So I'm not excited about this, but the town needs help. I can't do it on my own. You have no magical abilities that we know of to do this, so we need some help. I remember back to my family tree that my great, 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 second removed great-grandfather was an elementalist. He could control elements. And so we will, I'll call upon him. I stab the sword into the brook, starts to glisten, so on and so forth. As it's glistening, I can't remember his name. It was so long. So could you roll us a name?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Our name list.
Alrighty, so I rolled a 62.
62. Okay, so his name is... One second. His name is Garrick Brightsteel. That is a fitting name, I think. Garrick Brightsteel. Let me add that to the journal so we don't forget. Garrick Brightsteel, my relative. NPC. Add NPC. His name is Garrick.
So does it take anything out of you to call upon your ancestors, Mortimer?
Yes. I'm going to lose one spirit because I did that. It takes mental strain on me. It's not easy. Especially me having to remember that far back. So I'm going to lose one spirit, which puts me now at 4 spirit. 4 health, 4 spirit. But Garrick's here. We see a ghastly appearance manifesting himself. He is not the happiest to be bothered from his eternal slumber. And he looks at me, eyes wide, disappointment on his face, nodding begrudgingly. And he wants to know what I want. He knows who I am. I haven't called on him yet. Barely even know who he is. And I then ask him. So we need to compel him to see if he'll help us. He doesn't have to help us. We have to give him a good reason to help us. And so before we even plead our case, let's see if he's willing to. So I guess I'm having to roll this, right? This isn't
for sure.
We're not picking or choosing. So I'm rolling a compel roll to persuade him to do something, and I'm convincing. So this is with my heart, and I do not currently share a bond with him. So.
All right, let's see if he'll help us. Oh dear.
Oh no, are we in trouble?
Even if your heart's a 3, we're in trouble. It's a 2, an 8, and a 6.
My heart is a 1. So is that a miss completely?
That's a complete miss. Now, that brings into question, that's probably worth burning momentum on. What do you think?
Okay, so on a miss, here's what a miss is. On a miss, he refuses or makes a demand, which costs me greatly, and I must pay the price. So we can either burn momentum or have some narrative play out with this. What do you think?
I think the narrative, the momentum we might still need for making sure everything gets out with this fire.
Right back in town, maybe. Use the momentum to burn with rolls. Okay, so he's going to make a demand. That demand is, why in the world would I help you? You have to prove yourself. What have you done? I need to see some evidence that you're a mighty warrior.
Does he want to fight us?
Able to help you. I think he wants to just see. I guess. What other way can I prove to him that I'm worthy?
Do I get to help you in this battle, or is this like a one-on-one between you and your ancestor?
Okay, so he looks at you too, and he asks who you are. He notices that you're a little more built than I am, that you're a pretty intimidating force. So he wants to know what you have to say for yourself. What do you have to say? Why should I help Mortimer out?
Well, hello, Mr. Brightsteel. My name is Baldur Bloodaxe. Now you'll see here I'm just carrying a stick. I no longer have my axe. My last fight didn't go so well in my favor. But if we still need to prove ourselves as warriors, then I reckon that we can do that.
He likes your can-do spirit. No man with a mere stick's probably going to war, but he sees that you mean business with that stick. So he wants to see if we've got it in us. So that's the demand. He wants to test our mettle a little bit. He summons just a little stick golem. He wants to see how much we can hit him for. He's not swinging back. He just wants to see if we've got it in us to hit it. But we have to pay the price before we get ahead of ourselves.
Gotcha.
Because I missed. So, if you will roll for me to pay the price, let's see the number we get.
So we didn't pay the price last episode, so I'm gonna need a refresher. Is this the 2 D10s?
2 D10s,
Okay.
and it gives us a number. Like if it's a 1 and a 3, it's a 13.
Gotcha. All right, let's see how we pay the price. 10 and a 9. It always wants to roll 10 when we do these, and I don't think, like, 109 isn't a number, so it's just going to be 19.
Yeah, 19. Which is your action has an unintended effect. So we're a little slower. We can smell the fire. We've got to hurry. Is really it. The unintended effect is we want it to be really fast. This is slowing us down a little bit. We've got to pick up. We've got to pick up the pace. I'd say if we can't prove to him within like 5 rolls, stuff starts to heat up.
We're going to have to start carrying handfuls of water, and we're going to do something.
Something. Yeah, we'll wet your stick and see how much water we can get. We can get to Willowbrook. So let's say within 5 rolls or so that we have to do something else.
All right.
So we square up to this golem, this stick thing that he spawned, and we hit it. So I imagine this is a troublesome foe, right? I mean,
Definitely. Your ancestor's not wanting to kill us, and he's not fighting us anyways. So.
He's really just giving us a tedious test more than anything, I think. So we'll rank it troublesome. It is a threat. And create the track. Okay. So that leads us to rolling a clash roll. I'll hit him first, or a strike. I'll hit him first to prove that I'm worthy. And to even prove that even more so, I'm going to use one of my asset abilities. I'm going to use Blade Bound. We are entering the fray, so that is us entering into combat. So when you enter the fray... Wait, no. That won't really work here. I'm going to use Keen. When I hold a weapon and sing a Keen for those it's killed, I roll heart. On a strong hit, I inflict more harm, so on and so forth. Who have we killed, Baldur, that I can sing a Keen to now in this campaign?
I think
Who is Soul Render slain?
There's a set of thieves that we're going to call upon, or that you're going to call upon.
I raise my blade, pull it out of the stone and the brook, wherever I stabbed it, raise it to the sky. Thieves, thieves, where are you now? Thieves, thieves, I hope you drown. Stab it into the ground. Keen activated, and we roll to see what happens.
Alright, it's it's another one of those. It's a miss. It's an 8, a 2, and a 6.
Oh, hello. We have an intruder.
You said
Everyone
it's a bone golem we're fighting? It's the bone golem.
Yeah, it's a stick golem.
A stick golem, my bad.
And its name is Piper. Piper must scurry along now. So I rolled a complete miss, even with my heart, which is +1.
Wait, no, I forgot. I didn't do the modifier. So it's a weak hit because it was a 2.
Weak hit.
A 6 and a 2.
Okay. So on a weak hit, as above, so I add +1 harm to the striker clash. But the voices, oh my goodness, the voices are stuck in my head, driving me insane. So I endure 2 stress, and I have to be careful because I already endured 1 stress, and now I'm at two. I have 2 stress now, which is okay. We can get that back later. Or two spirit is what it is. That's how stress works. So I add +1 harm to this attack. So now if you'll roll again as I strike this stick golem.
Alrighty. A 10, a 4, and a 4. So I'm assuming with your modifier, that's going to be another weak hit.
So I inflict the harm, so I hit him twice, but I lose initiative, which works out thematically anyway. So I hit him twice, and since he is a troublesome enemy, I've hit him 6. So he looks to you. He's pleased with my hit. He's okay with that. He didn't expect me to hit this thing worth anything, but he's pleased with it. His eyes turn to you now, Baldur. He wants to see what you can do with that stick.
Baldur starts laughing because the stick golem is just making all kinds of noise, and I hold up my stick, and I'm like, well, I've got a piece of you right here. I'm about to give it back to you.
Do you Fortnite dance at him in a taunting fashion?
I just might. I'm rolling for a clash. Wait, no, not a clash.
A strike.
A strike. I'm rolling for a strike.
And let me ask this. Are you hitting it or throwing it? Because that matters.
I'm just going to hit it. I'm not going to throw. I know it's more powerful for me to throw, but I don't think that this stick golem means anything. I think he's going to be weak.
Right.
So I'm just going to walk up and clobber him. That's my plan.
Okay.
So
this is your iron.
I rolled a 8, a 1, and a 3, so another weak hit.
Okay. So you inflict your harm and lose initiative, which is fine. So we've hit him for 9. I think we can roll to end this fight, which is good because we had 5 rolls, right? We did it in 2.
Yes.
So in the fight, when you make a move to take decisive action, you have to score a strong hit to end a fight.
Oh.
When you make a move to take decisive action and score a strong hit,
we did that.
You may resolve the outcome of this fight. Okay, for the sake of this, we both had a good hit on him. He was okay with the hit we made.
You lost initiative, so technically I have to go again, right?
Well, you lost initiative too, because you
had a weak hit as well. So it would go back to you because the stick golem, it can't attack us. Your ancestor doesn't want to hurt us.
Correct. So I think, though, with that being said, for the narrative, we can probably exclude that part, just for this. This is more of a test and less of an actual fight. So are you cool to
go ahead and roll for it?
I think so.
All right, I'm rolling to see if we end the fight. A 1, a 10, and a 2. It's a weak one.
Okay, so we don't roll the d6 for this. We use our progress bar, which is a 9.
So it's still a weak hit, even using 9.
Okay, so as a weak hit, we're good. We kill it, flee it, whatever we want to do. So we've proved our worth, but we have to choose one. We have to endure harm. It's worse than we thought. Endure stress. We're overcome mentally. Our victory is short-lived. A new danger or foe appears, or an existing danger worsens. Could fit narrative. We must suffer collateral damage. Something of value is lost or broken, or someone important must pay the cost. Probably not. You'll pay for it. An objective falls out of reach, or others won't forget. We are marked for vengeance. The only one that fits that, I think, is we endure stress, because mentally we're getting frustrated. We want this to be over. Or, an existing danger worsens. Something could happen with the fire. What do you think?
I think the fire. We know it's been burning. We had to do this combat. We really didn't want to do this combat, because when we sent Bronwyn back into the blaze, there's people and their families. I mean, we hear a building collapse behind us. It just falls to the ground, makes a crash. We don't even hear the fire from this brook, because the brook's fairly loud, but we hear the building crash. We know things are getting dire.
Okay. So we're in a hurry. The fire's intensifying is what's happening. Okay. So, back to the narrative. What's this guy's name? I should know this.
I have his last name wrote down. It's
Garrick.
Yes, Garrick.
Garrick is his name.
Bright Steel?
Night Steel. Night Steel.
Oh, I said Bright Steel earlier when I addressed him. He probably didn't like me very much.
Hey, he didn't hear it.
I apologize to your ancestor.
He accepts the apology. So Garrick looks at us, nodding his head now. You two you've proven your worth. He looks at me. Son, I'm proud. We'll talk more about that later. I think a background vow, maybe progress, but we'll do that later. He's proud of me. He agrees to help. Like I said, he was an elementalist. He could bend the elements. And so we ask him, Garrick, is it too much trouble? We have this fire in Willowbrook. Are you able to bring the water from the brook over Willowbrook? And he says he can, that he's able to do that. That's not outside of his realm of magic. So we ask him for some time. Say, hey, we got to get back. Let us evacuate. We'll send a signal. You'll know when it's time to do what you need to do. And he agrees to help us. So we've got to book it back to town. Excuse me, Baldur. Please forgive me, sir.
Baldur knows of no Colin.
Yeah, who's Colin? I don't know a Colin. Anything you want to add there? Is that we feel pretty good about that? It's time to book it back to town, or is there something else that happens? Something on the way to town? We didn't roll a journey to get here, so we're not rolling a journey back. So.
Yeah, I mean, we know the way. It's just several few steps. It's not that far. Now, I think this is probably the time we want to know, has Bronwyn been able to subdue this fire in any way? We know the house came down, but has he been able to help in any way?
Okay, so we kind of take a view back, and our NPC now, we're going to roll for him to see if he was able to... I don't know if this is how you do it, but I think this works. Is it 50-50? Likely, almost certain, unlikely, small chance? What do we want to grade this before we roll for it?
Unlikely, I would say. I mean, it's a fire, and all he had as a tool was a spade. He's one person. Everybody else don't really know what they're doing. But...
Okay. I agree. Unlikely. It's one man against the blaze of a town. I'm going to roll it, okay? Yes. He did prevail. It rolled a 79, which is a yes.
Awesome.
It is. He did it. So, as in he did it, we mean that he contained it.
Right.
A little bit.
The places the fire was already at, there's not much you could do, but he kind of burned the ground around different houses, saved the family's houses. They can rebuild. They can fix what's been burned, but I mean, their homes. They didn't want to lose that, so that's where he started. I think.
So fire's still going strong, but he contained it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that 2 milestones? Bronwyn was successful. We convinced the ancestor. 2 milestones for our iron vow of putting the fire out.
Correct. So we're at 4.
Okay. So let me mark that. I don't know if we said this in the beginning, but if you guys remember with us, we swore an iron vow at the end of last episode to put this fire out.
I think I did leave that out of the recap. That's my bad.
It's fine. 4 out of 10 for this dangerous vow that we have sworn. So, we're back at the village. Baldur, what do we see? What's going on? We're back at Willowbrook.
So Bronwyn waves at us. He looks happy. He comes over and tells us, hey, I was able to contain this fire. It's not spreading anymore, but I'm afraid if it's left to its devices and we don't do something soon, then my measures will have been for nothing, that it's going to eventually spread either way, no matter what we do. And all the people are kind of crowded around Bronwyn, looking to him kind of as a hero. He's went from a thief to a hero very quickly. He's saved these people's homes for the time being, and we know we've got to get these people out of here, because as soon as we give this signal, there's going to be a tidal wave coming through this town.
Yeah. Right. Fire's big doings, but a tidal wave's big doings as well. I think their structure can handle it, but it'll be tough on them. So how in the world do we get these people out of this town?
So we walk over to them, and they don't know us. So we're having a hard time. We kind of go back and forth with them. We're like, hey, you need to leave. And we see one family, and they're just staring at their home, like their eyes are wide. They look distraught. They think they're about to lose everything that they've ever worked for. They just will not look away. A couple of people, I mean, they realize what's going on. They know if they stay around that this fire can kill them as well as their homes. So we've got some people that have already evacuated on their own, but specifically this family won't even interact with us. They won't look at us. They will only just stare into the fire, like seeing what they're losing. So we have to convince them. We have to convince them that they have to leave.
Yeah, we have to gain their trust. I mean, can we blame them? We're coming in with these outlandish tales. A thief is now their hero. Two strangers are, hey, the brook over there is about to be over here. Why would they believe us? We have to, and this family specifically, it seems, we have to gain their trust. So let's see. We obviously have the compel roll. I don't think we have any right to forge a bond with them yet because they don't trust us. Bronwyn we had some dialogue with. We were able to forge a bond with him. So I wonder if the correct call will be, I'm reading through these, would be, do we compel them, threaten them, obviously with a good intention? What do we think? Yeah, the main thing I think we can roll is something to do with compelling them.
So compelling is with the heart, and threaten is with iron. And, I mean, just for narrative purposes, this might sound cruel, but I think we threaten them. I think we have to threaten them like, you are either going to leave or you're going to die. You need to leave now. We know you may not trust us, but yeah, I think we have to threaten them.
Okay, so that is iron, and obviously, is that me? Am I the iron one?
Yep.
You're the shadow one. We could lie to them if you want to use your shadow. I don't know how we could lie to them, but maybe threatens the correct call anyway. So here's the threat. Leave or die. And it's a true threat, but it is the threat.
We mean no harm by it, but it's just the truth.
It's just the truth. My iron is 1 second. I think it's 3, right?
Yes.
3. I have 3 iron. Okay, roll the dice.
Okay, it's an 8. Oh my. It is an 8, an 8, and a 6. So it's a strong hit.
So I rolled a 9.
But it's also...
It's a strong hit.
It's a double.
It's action. It's a double. So what happens with double? Okay. So matches. When you roll a match on your challenge dice, that's why you said, oh no. Strong hit with a match. The match represents a twist in the narrative, something interesting, or a new opportunity. A twist, something interesting, or a new opportunity. Alright, so... Colin, I keep calling you Colin. Your name is Baldur. Baldur, what is this twist? What's going on?
I have no idea. I think we're going to need to ask the Oracle.
Okay, let's ask the Oracle. I've got the program over here that's going to make it a lot easier. This is probably a threat roll, right? What kind of roll are we looking for?
Well, it's a good thing. It's a strong
twist?
hit, so it's something
That's
for
true.
us. So I don't think threat. Something good happens.
Maybe a core roll, and it's a major plot twist, an action, a theme. Any of those sound like anything we'd want to roll for?
I think an action.
Okay, let's see. And I roll the action, and it's a change. A change has happened.
I think that they run up to Bronwyn, the family does, and they thank him because their house isn't burning yet, but they're staring at it. There's fire around it. He's kept it so far from burning their home, and then they look at us and they thank us for helping them see reason, and they say, you know, if we can come out of this alive, and especially if we can keep our home, then we'll do whatever we can to repay you. Like we will
Okay.
be in your debt.
So a complete change of heart is the change. They trust us completely now. Do they trust us so much as they start helping us usher people out?
Yeah.
They stay on the outskirts. Me and you are about to run into the middle of this blaze.
Yeah,
We point them to the family points them to Bronwyn, who's outside the city.
absolutely, because even though there are people that are still they've evacuated themselves, so to speak, but they haven't gotten far enough away from this settlement that we feel safe about this tidal wave coming through. We're like, hey,
Right.
you
we
said,
got to get them out.
yep, you've done everything. You said you would do whatever for us. So specifically right now, what we need is for you to go and tell all these people that we're about to save the settlement, but you need to flee. You need to get as far as you can.
Yeah, I agree. So they're going to help us with that, and I think it's time. Me and you are about to run into the heart of this blaze to make sure everybody's evacuated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I propose we roll a face danger roll. And we have a few options. We can use our edge if it's speed agility, our heart, charm, loyalty, courage, our iron if it's something aggressive, forceful, shadow if it's trickery, stealth, or wits if it's with expertise or observation.
So it takes a lot of courage to run into a fire. So I say we run.
For sure.
We roll for our heart. So I'm rolling to face
Yeah.
danger.
And your heart is 2, correct?
Yes,
So
my
roll
heart is
for us.
2.
Okay.
So we have a 6, a 2, and a 4 plus 2 is 6. So it's a weak hit.
Weak hit, okay. On a weak hit with face danger, you succeed, but face a troublesome cost. Choose one. You are delayed, lose advantage, or face a new danger, suffer 1 momentum. You are tired or hurt, suffer 1 harm, which will be our help. You are dispirited or afraid, endure stress, which is our spirit. Or we sacrifice the resources, suffer 1 supply.
Do we have to do the same thing?
Not necessarily.
So I'm thinking I get into this blaze, and everything in me wants to run. I'm freaking out. I'm not necessarily scared of fire, but just as much as anyone should be. Like, it's a very rational fear, and it's just freaking me out. I don't know. I want to flee. So I think I'm going to
Okay.
take stress. I'm going to lose spirit.
So I'm going to lose spirit as well for a different reason. I'm mentally taxed after this day. What, I'm at 2 spirit? I lost spirit for summoning the ancestor. It took some out of me. I was very nervous. I rolled poorly earlier and lost 2 more stress. It's been an exhausting day for me. Run into this blaze. I do it with courage, but it's my mental. I'm very mentally weak right now, so I'm going to suffer stress as well. So I'm at 1 spirit, so I have to be careful. I don't go insane. What a tough day for Mortimer. He's mentally out of it. So, did we do it? Did we compelled them? I think we crossed our T's, dotted our I's. We have successfully. Is there anybody in here we need to compel to get out? I don't necessarily think so. I think they're getting out. I think the family was the main doubters. And
Do we want to roll for someone that maybe got stuck and no one realized?
we could be interesting. See what happens with that narrative.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely because this fire, it started kind of slow. People knew what was happening. It's only now quickened up pace now that there's so many different sources of this blaze. And then even Bronwyn,
Okay.
he was successful. He slowed it down again. So it's unlikely. I would say the lowest likely.
Okay, which would be a small chance. So there's a small chance that anyone is stuck here, correct?
Yes.
I roll it. Small chance. No, nobody is stuck here.
Nice.
So we were successful. The city's been evacuated. They're on the outskirts of town. It's time for me to... also, would we call that a milestone, evacuating the city?
Absolutely, that's a milestone. So is that our third
I agree.
milestone?
Yeah, let me double check. That is our 3rd milestone, so we were at 6 out of 10. And now I can send the signal to let Garrick know it's time for him to work. I take the sword again, mentally exhausted. I'm not going to suffer any more spirit. It's not going to take that much out of me. I just let him be. He knows. He senses it.
He's already
the
agreed
connection
to
I
help.
have to him. Yeah, the connection I have to him through the sword. He can feel that we're ready. Me and you book it out because we don't want to get hit by this tidal wave either. Garrick summons his strength, picks up the water of the brook, sends it over the town in one fell sweep, and the fire has been completely extinguished, we think. To us, we'll have to roll our Iron Vow and see, but initially it seems that the fire has been put out. Garrick he's proud. He was watching from a distance. He saw the courage I displayed along with my new friend Baldur. He goes back into the sword, being able to rest and proud of me. And I can feel it. When he enters back into the blade, I can feel that. If I did anything today, yeah, I saved the town, yes, saved the people. What meant the most to me is that Garrick was proud. And my background vow is to make my ancestors proud. We can handle that at the end of the episode, but don't let me forget to possibly mark that.
Yeah, I mean, as your ancestors do get proud of you, they probably are more willing to help you. I mean,
I think so. Yeah. Garrick, I saved him as an NPC, and I'll put a note that he's the elementalist. We can call on him again, and more willing. It's less stressful, he's more willing to help. I think that's a cool mechanic for my character. Okay.
So Baldur's not sure if Mortimer sees it, but as the tidal wave washed over across the town, he looks up, and at the crest of the wave, he sees something that makes him angry and almost amazed. He looks up and he sees a nymph riding the wave. We didn't think there was a nymph in this brook. I wonder where they came from. Maybe they were
there was a pesky nymph.
Baldur wonders if he was summoned by his ancestor. But there may now be a nymph to wash over this town. This may never happen again.
A protector, in a sense. Maybe so. That's pretty cool. So, the fire seems to be put out. 4th milestone, correct? Ancestor, agreed, milestone. Bronwyn was successful, milestone. Evacuation, milestone. Tidal wave happened. Milestone, or are we going to keep it at 6 and roll it as a 6?
Well, if we keep it as 6, we probably want to think of something else we can do to make sure this fire's out. Because, I mean, we want this fire to be out.
Yeah,
we really want to have
burn
helped these
momentum
people
on a
right
Iron Vow roll.
So
I'm cool with saying the tidal wave hitting is a milestone, unless you want to take it a little bit more of an assuring milestone, because that one could be double dipping a little bit.
Do you want to do? We could double dip with it, but what if we just roll a very likely roll? Like I like bringing it up to chance. Did the tidal wave completely stop everything from burning?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. So we think it's very likely?
Very likely.
Is it? So we have 50-50, likely, almost certain. Which one are we doing?
Let's do almost.
Almost certain? Okay. We make the roll. Yes. It put it out.
Awesome.
So we're dancing in the streets. The town's celebrating. We're celebrating with them. Me, you, and Bronwyn clasp hands, hug necks. We're very proud of the work that we've done today, and we think that we've accomplished our Iron Vow. So we would say we have 4 milestones leading us to 8 progress.
Yes.
Okay. Let's roll. We're rolling together, right? Yes. And you're rolling the 2d10s, and they're comparing to the 8.
Right. All right. I'm rolling to see if we can complete this quest. Did we stop the town from burning? 3 and a 9, so it's a weak hit.
Okay, let's see what a weak hit is. On a weak hit, there is more to be done, or you realize the truth of your quest. Envision what you discover, ask the Oracle if unsure, then mark experience. Troublesome 0. Troublesome's usually 1 on a strong hit. Dangerous 1, so we get 1 experience. So let's mark our experience real quick in our journal.
And that'll have us at 3?
3 experience is what I've got as well. And there's some things we can do with 3 experience that we can end the session with, so we don't have to start the session with it next time. But we continue. A week hit, we add our experience, and then we may swear another iron vow to set things right if we envision something that needs to be set right. If you do, we add +1 to the roll. So the options are, there's more to be done, or we realize the truth of our quest. It's tough. It's more to be done could be, and we're spitballing here, we have to now help rebuild the town, maybe. Or, if we realize the truth of the quest, maybe there's a sinister force at play. You know, we thought it was an accident. We've already dealt with some spirits. Now there's seemed to be a water nymph. What if there's some sort of an aggressive fire spirit? Somehow, somebody in the town summoned it. Some dark magic going on. They lost control. The fire spirit is what bolstered this flame. The accident was caused by this fire spirit.
There was a fire spirit. The people come up to us, congratulating us. They don't know really what happened, and I just point to Mortimer. I'm like, that guy, he is a beast. He was able to get his blade to summon a tidal wave. It doesn't get much better than that. But they all look confused. They're like, did you find a person in the fire? Because one of us is missing. And we're like, no, we made certain. Because before Mortimer called the wave, we searched the town, even though it was terrifying, and found nothing. There was no one in there, no bodies, no people hiding, trying to get away from the fire, none of that. And they say, oh, well, we're most worried because the iron worker who was working in the forge, he's nowhere to be found. He's gone.
Bum, bum, bum. Sorry.
And honestly, I think the nymph is, how does a nymph move? Probably floats over to us, little pool of water under their feet. They float over, and we look. We didn't know a nymph could talk, but they give us kind of a cryptic message. The iron was the fire. They had the fire. They brought it. That's why I was hiding. You couldn't find me in my brook, is because water and fire don't mix, and that fire spirit ran me away from my home. So when you brought that tidal wave in, you've not only given these people in the settlement back their home, but you've given me back my home. You've really restored order to this entire land. That fire spirit had very dark plans that stretched beyond just setting this town on fire. And I don't know who would have sent him, but someone must have sent him, because fire spirits don't just show up in a town to burn things. They'll burn anything.
Okay, man. Very cool. This is not a real pause, but I love this game because we came into this campaign today, this episode, with one idea, and it's just neat to see it progress through roles and things. So, I look to Baldur. It begs the question, if the iron worker is not here, his body is not here, is it likely that he is the one who summoned the fire spirit?
I think almost certain. I think he is the fire spirit. He was some type of magician who had power over fire spirits.
Some sort of dark magic, maybe a pact, like a blood pact, or like a something like that. Do we roll? Is it almost likely? We're not certain.
I don't think we do roll for that. I think we take that as evidence. I think that is evidence given to us. We didn't have to gather this information. Like, we helped these people. They're freely coming and telling us what they know now. Before, some of them were a little bit concerned because this fire started. Things have went crazy. The stores were emptied that were supposed to be used to stop fires, and then these two strangers show up. So I can see where they think that we were really the culprits. And then we're not going to tell
Right.
them that Bronwyn was the culprit. We understand his motives, and he did what he could to help us stop the fire. So we see that he did
Right.
his part. So we're not gonna tarnish his name in front of his fellow settlement members. But yeah, I think we take the evidence that the nymph has given us, that fire spirit has been there for a while, and that they haven't been welcome back in their home until the tidal wave. But the fire spirit must not have been defeated, because water is not enough to defeat the fire spirit.
Right. So he's still on the loose.
Absolutely.
Are we going to catch him? Is the next question. We have to, right?
Yeah, I raise my stick, which has now been burned a little bit,
Let's go.
and I say, okay, actually this isn't iron, so I ask if you'll hold
Touch
out your blade
Well,
for both of us.
you have a piece of armor. You touch your chest as you're holding out your stick.
Very true. Yeah, I hold my hand to my heart even. And I take an iron vow that we will find and stop this fire spirit.
I agree. I touch your chest as well, and I vow the same vow. So we go to the journal. So we completed our initial iron vow. The first one. So we add a new one. Stop the fire spirit. What are we ranking stopping the fire spirit? Troublesome, dangerous, formidable, extreme, or epic? Formidable, maybe, right? It's at least dangerous.
Okay, so I think that before, we don't know much about fire spirits. The nymph won't really talk anymore. They've already made their way back to their brook. They've completely left the scene. We're standing here with the community. We ask around if they, once again, like they're willing to help us with anything. Do y'all know anything about fire spirits? And they say no. So we don't know. We don't know how bad this quest is. I think we have to get a little bit of information before we're able to dictate what type of quest this is.
We can ask the Oracle. The Oracle can roll to rank this quest for us.
Okay, I'm good with
With
that.
us not knowing, the Oracle could know. So, the Oracle, we pull up a challenge rank roll. Ready?
Yes.
Rolling, and it is formidable,
Okay.
which is the easiest one, right?
No, troublesome is easier.
Okay, true. Formidable's the third one. That's the one I mentioned anyway. So, it's a formidable, but we still don't know anything. And Baldur and Mortimer don't necessarily know it's formidable, but the Oracle does and has ranked the quest for us. So, stop the fire spirit. It is a formidable quest. Got it in the journal. Obviously, this is for next time. I know we're coming up on time. But I wonder if our first milestone should be gather information. We have to somehow, maybe we find a library in an adjacent town, something. But again,
100%.
we'll leave it. We'll leave it at a bit of a cliffhanger, and pick up that next episode. Unfinished business. Well, first off, with Bronwyn, do we have any more business we need to finish with him as we wrap up the episode?
I think so. We help everybody else kind of get a place to stay for the night. It's coming up on evening. It's getting to the point that they're going to need to get some sleep. They can think about rebuilding tomorrow. So we help all the people in the settlement, help them each make their individual camps. And Bronwyn kind of singles us away from the group, and he says, "Thank you. You helped save the town. You helped me right my wrongs. What I did could have destroyed this town." And we look at him and we're like, this may be partly your fault, but now that we found that there's darker magic at play here, there's something else going on, we're not sure if you could have, even if the flower water was here, how much could have stopped a fire spirit besides a tidal wave. So thankfully we were able to show up and help you. But yeah, we don't hold it against you. is there anything we can do? And he says, yeah, we don't really have much way to grow food here. So can you escort me to a town over? I know where the next town is. We visit there often to get our food rations. But yeah, I don't feel so safe going there. Could y'all escort
With an
me?
angry fire, yeah, with an angry fire spirit on the loose, I wouldn't feel safe either. So I would say we agree, right? We go arm in
100%.
arm. Kill two birds with one stone. We need more information. Maybe this village has some, and we want Bronwyn. We want to travel with him to lead him to the food. Is this an iron vow? Probably not. He's just tagging along with us as we.
I don't think it's an iron vow.
Okay, I agree with you. And
No. Well, you go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to propose we maybe pause there. I think this is a good stopping point, but what were you going to say?
Well, you need to do your background vow.
Yeah, I meant narrative-wise. Now we housekeep at the end of the episode. We've got to do background vow, and we have 3 experience that we can do something with.
Gotcha. I think, well, the last thing is Bronwyn has singled us out, and then someone from the crowd that we don't know, he comes up to Baldur, and he says, I heard that your name is the Blood Axe, and while I don't have an axe to offer you, I do have the sword that was being made today when the fire started burning. Now, I don't know if that iron worker was worth his merits, if he was actually a fire spirit, if he was a magician, but he sure enough made a sword today. So I think it's best I give this to you. And he gives me a sword. So now I'm
nice.
I don't give him the stick in exchange. I throw the stick behind me. I'm very happy to
Baldur
part
blood
ways.
sword.
Yeah, now I'm the blood sword, I suppose. And I don't feel very comfortable wielding a sword, but it's better than a stick. So
It's better than a stick, and I guess you're still on a quest to find a suitable replacement for your axe. But in the meantime, this will do. You have any more housekeeping for you before we close? We'll do our 3 experience together, but anything besides the experience points?
I think that's good.
Okay. For me, housekeeping. Background vow, as I mentioned. Garrick was proud. I could feel it. He expressed it. My background vow is to make my ancestors proud. It's an extreme rank, so it's taken some time, but I do hit a milestone with that and get 2 ticks in the box. And that's all the housekeeping I have. But now we have 3 experience. So the way experience works, that we get to spend it, is there's an advance roll, is the name of the roll. When you focus on your skills, receive training, find inspiration, earn a reward, gain a companion, anything like that, you may spend 3 experience to add a new asset, or 2 experience to upgrade an asset. And there's not a roll attached, actually. We just do it. So for me, I'm going to say, focus on my skills. I was so in tune with my ancestors today that I feel a new sense of boldness in a sense, so I'm going to spend some experience points. I'm, at this point, not going to get a new asset because I'd like to focus in on the ones I have, rotating around my blade and my ancestors. So I'm going to upgrade. Let's see. I've been using Keen a lot. I think Keen's really cool. So I'm going to upgrade Keen to level 2 experience. And now I'm able to do what it said for level 1. And I may also add +1. And it says 1 time only.
What does it mean, 1 time only? Your asset says that?
Yes, for this. So I'll have to do some research on that. I wonder if it's like I have like a power move that I can use 1 time in the campaign, which is kind of cool. But as above happens, and the wielder may also 1 time only add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit when they draw the circle, enter the fray, or battle. So now it opens it up to use in other things. Draw the circle, I don't know if you know, is a 1v1 duel type roll. It's kind of cool. I wonder if we should have done that with the stick, but we'll employ it later. And then enter the fray is how we enter combat, and then a battle is combat, but you roll to speed it up, and it's just the outcome. So I've unlocked those things to use Keen in as a role. I spend 2 experience to upgrade Keen. Baldur, what is allowing you to upgrade or buy today? Your training, skills, inspiration. You earned a reward, maybe your sword. Fill in the narrative and do your things, and we'll wrap the episode up.
So yeah, I got the reward of the sword, which was a huge upgrade from a stick. And let's face it, I wasn't going to be able to do much to
True.
a fire spirit with a stick. It was already a little bit smoldered. He was just going to obliterate it. Now, one question I do have is, do I have enough experience to buy a new asset, or is it only upgrade?
You do. No, you can buy a new asset with 3 experience. And if you need to think on it, and we'll introduce it to the audience next episode.
I think...
Or if you know it.
I think I know what I want. I want to get either Ironclad or Brawler. I think I'm going to go with Brawler. This time away from my weapon has shown me that weapons aren't necessarily everything. I have a sword now. Don't know how long the sword's going to last. The sword may be evil.
True.
It was made by evil. But
True.
I'm going to take Brawler, which is if you are unarmed or fighting with a non-deadly weapon, when you secured advantage plus iron by engaging in close quarters brawling. If you score a hit, you may also inflict 1 harm. So I guess it adds
Cool.
1 harm.
Sounds like it.
And
When you're
it
using...
increases your iron. So
Okay, that's cool. When you're using your fists or a stick or a rock, something like that. That's really cool. So that is 3 experience. I'm at 1 experience. You are now at 0 experience.
very nice.
And that's the housekeeping. Anything else we've missed?
Well, you said that your background val increased, and I'll take your thoughts on this. I'm trying to be a better person, but I mainly want to figure out what happened to my family. So I don't really think my background val increased on this, because it may make me look a little bit better that I helped with the burning the town, but that was really you. You called upon your ancestors. I was just here to help get people out of the town. You threatened the people out of the town. I've just kind of been here doing what I can to help. So I don't think that my background val went up personally.
Up to you. You bolstered the courage, though. You rolled the courage roll for us to run in to the fire and search. So again, it's up to your interpretation. If you don't feel like you did anything, keep it how it is.
I'm still looking. I know that a fire spirit didn't kill my family. They weren't burned. They were murdered with some type of weapon that we might use. So I'm still looking for some information about what happened to my family. I didn't increase on my background val.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Baldur, good work is all I can say. We've done good today, and I think we wrap up the episode now. My final words, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. We're trying to learn the rules better. I felt a lot more comfortable today. I think you would say the same thing, Colin.
For sure.
Again, if you see us mishandle rules, let us know. Please let us know in the comments. Any suggestions, any feedback, we'd love to see it. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for tuning in. Colin, any last words to close us out?
Yeah, if you've watched to this point, just thank you for your time. We still are learning the rules. We've got a better handle on them now, but just keep bearing with us, and we'll keep handling them more.
That's right. Thanks again for tuning in to Tales of the Ironsworn. We'll see you guys in the next episode.